study in C major by Francisco Tárrega. It is also quite simple, so let's jump in. Okay, one of the reasons this song is so accessible as a fingerpicking song is that it uses the same fingerpicking pattern throughout the whole song. So let's start with the fingerpicking pattern. We're going to be using our thumb, first finger, second finger and third finger. The thumb is always going to be plucking whatever note is the root note of the chord, so the lowest note. So if we take C to start with, thumb is going to be on the A. And now for all other chords, including this chord, our fingers are going to be 1 is going to be on the G, 2 is going to be on the B, 3 is going to be on the top E. And we have this pattern of we ascend through the chord, thumb 1, 2, 3, then we descend 2, 1, then we descend a second time, 3, 2, 1, and we descend then a third time, 3, 2, 1. Putting all that together. And you should just get comfortable with that finger picking pattern. One adjustment that we make is that for each chord there's an add note or a change of the notes, usually on the top string. In the case of the C, we're going to do our ascend, first descend, but on the second descend we're then going to add on the third fret on the top E, and then for the third descend we're going to take off that finger, putting it together. And that pattern of adding it on and taking it off is done for almost all of the rest of the chords in this song, except for the next one, which is a G. So we move from C to a G. It doesn't need to look like a G like this though, because we're only actually playing the low root note, third fret on the E, and then we're going to use our little finger to stretch up to the 5th fret on the E string. And we're going to do the same finger picking pattern. Second descend we move to the 3rd fret, and the third descend we move to the 1st fret. The fingers we use here are important. First finger on the low E, little finger, second finger, by which point we can take our first finger off of the root and move it onto the first. Then we go back to the C, exactly the same as before. Now we're going to go for an E7, and the E7 is we're going to play it kind of like a D7. You may be familiar with this shape, which is from the G, I guess it's 2, 1, 2. We're going to slide this up 2 frets to turn a D7 into an E7. We're going to take off the top E, so we're now playing basically 4th on the G, 3rd on the B, open on the top E. And we're going to play because this is an E7 as I said, we're going to play the root on the low E. So this is same finger picking pattern. Then for the second descend we add on the 4th on the E, then take it off. Now we move to an A. It's kind of like the top end of an A bar chord if we were doing it rooted on the E string, except we're going to play the root on the open A, and we're just going to bar the top 3 strings. For the second descend we reach up to the 3rd, which is the 8th fret on the E, the minor 3rd of the A chord. Now we go back down, this time to an actual D7, so root note is on the D string, and then our little finger is going to reach up for the second descend onto the 3rd fret on the E, back to the normal chord shape. And then we're going to finish on a G, a normal G this time. This is kind of redundant, but it's fine if you have a habit like I do of doing a G like this. You could also do it like this, and we're just going to go up just once, finish on the root. Okay, that's part 1. Let's just play through that together, kind of slowly, see if you can put all the chords together. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat the C. Now we go to G next. it's the E7. Next is A, D7, finish on G. Lovely. Next we'll look at part 2. Exactly the same finger picking patterns, but maybe the chords are a little bit more challenging. So I would say this is a good point to stop and just get really comfortable with what you've done there, and then you can jump into the next section. Okay, part 2 starts with a G chord, and this time it's kind of like a normal G shape that we're used to, except it's a G7. And we're going to do the same finger picking pattern. Then we add on the 3rd fret of the E for the second descend, back to the 1st fret, then we're going to change to a C, and then for the second descend we're going to sort of bar our 1st finger so that it's also taking care of the 1st fret on the top E. This is maybe kind of one of the trickiest bits of the song. I guess you might find the stretch of the G in the first part quite tricky, but I find this quite tricky in terms of keeping the accuracy, and it might take a bit of practice just to get the C, and then bar, and then off. I would say make sure you have super short nails on your fretting hands to help you get that kind of pivot action to be on and off. So G, C, then we go to what's kind of like a B7. So you should know B7 shape, nothing on the E, and then from the A it's 2, 1, 2, open, 2. Except we're not playing the D string, so rather than play it like this, I play it like this, which is basically 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the E. Now little finger comes up to the 3rd on the E. Now we have an open, it's like an E minor chord, the next one. We can just take it off. 2. Then we have an F, but again let's remember that we're not playing A or D strings, so I do it like this, barring across the 1st fret on all the strings with the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Little finger comes on for the 3rd fret on the top E, and then back off. And this is also another challenging part because I guess it depends on the guitar you're using, but this can be quite a challenge to get the bar clean. You can maybe hear like a tiny hint of a buzz from me there. Bad workman blames his tools, so I'll say it's nothing to do with the guitar and completely my fault. From the F we go back to a G, and the G we're going to kind of do what we did with that C earlier. So we have a G, 1st finger is now on the 1st fret of the B string, so it's kind of like was a C, but we'll leave the 1st finger where it is, 1st to the B, but we're going to take the root of the G, and then that bar to get the 1st fret on the top E. Then we're going to switch back to that original G. 5, 3, 1, and we finish on a C root in the same way that we concluded the first part with the G. Ascend, 1 descend, and finish on the root. And then if you like, some kind of little celebratory rasgueado at the end. Let's play part 2 together slowly, just to get a feel for it and recap the chords. So that would be G7, C, B7, E minor, to that awkward F, G, another G, Awesome, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. I guess maybe a couple of notes at the end. This is a classical piece and it does sound very nice on a classical guitar. I usually play it on a classical guitar or a flamenco style guitar that I like. But I'm playing on a steel string guitar just to kind of make the point that you can also play this type of music and this song in particular on a steel string guitar, although it's maybe a little bit more challenging because the neck is a little bit narrower. There's no reason for you not to be able to do this song, especially if you're interested in fingerpicking. This one is really accessible. So, hope you enjoyed. See you next time.